I'm Dave, and tonight we're talking spaghetti sauce. I've got another of my 2-minute cooking classes for you. Now, a basic tomato sauce is something everybody should know how to do. It's really not all that hard to do. There's a couple techniques and really just a few ingredients. It takes a little bit of time, but most of the time you can sit on your ass watching TV and just let the sauce do its work on the stove. Let's go ahead and get started. I got a large pot over the heat. I'm going to add a good amount of olive oil to it, enough to coat the bottom. You want to use kind of a heavy bottom cast iron or even a slow roaster for something like this. 2 yellow onions in there, about 6 cloves of garlic, and let them saute until the onions are soft. Once the onions are transparent, you want to add a 6-ounce can of tomato paste and just stir that in. Cook it off for about 5 minutes until it changes color, becomes a little rusty. After 5 minutes or so, add about a teaspoon of oregano and a good 1.5 cups of good red wine. We're going to let that come up to a simmer, let the wine reduce down by about half. After simmering for about 5 minutes, that wine is going to be pretty much reduced out. I've got 5 pounds of Roma tomatoes that I just reached in and literally just crushed with my hands. Bring that up to a simmer and let it just barely simmer for about 2 hours. After a couple hours of simmering, your sauce is essentially done. You could serve it up now. Really what we're going to do now is just kind of tweak it to your own preferences. I like mine a little less chunky, so I just go ahead and take a potato masher and go right to it, and this lets you control kind of how fine you want. I don't really like doing a stick blender or any kind of blending to this. I find that over mixes it. The other thing you want to make sure you do is give it a little taste. For seasoning, sometimes this could use a little bit of salt. Sometimes the tomatoes are a bit tart or acidic, and you can counteract that with a little bit of sugar, which frankly I use most of the time. And then one last optional ingredient. I've got a sprig of basil here. I'm just going to throw the whole thing in there and let it cook for like another half an hour or so. I'm keeping it together so I can pull it out because I don't want the basil to stay in there. I just want it to give off some of its flavor. And then you're pretty much done. If you want it thicker, simmer with the top off. If you want it thinner, you can always add a little bit of water or chicken stock. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.